Okay, so what we're doing today is we're going to be taking a look at the Inspect Element feature inside of Google Chrome. So I have this page on the IUCocomo website, and basically what we want to do is we want to bring up that Inspect Element inspector. And the way that we do that is if you choose any element on your web page, for instance this heading, I can right-click on it and choose Inspect Element. When I do that, my inspector shows up over here on the right-hand side. It just depends on how you have it set up. But this icon here, if you click on it, you can either choose to dock it on the bottom or you can undock it altogether. I like to have mine on the right-hand side. So as you can see, I've hovered over the H1 with a class of page display name. So if you take a look down here, this is my actual style sheet. So on my reset.css style sheet, I have a style called h1.pageDisplayName. It's a class. And it shows me the styles that I've associated with that in my style sheet. So the font size, color, and the margin. If I hover over this in the HTML portion, you can see that there's some coloring that goes along with that style. So if you look at the margin, is what I've said, I've got 0.5 ems on the top, 0 on the right, 0.75 on the bottom, and 0 on the left. When I hover over it in my HTML, you can see the orange part of it corresponds to the margin on the top and the bottom, the 0.5 ems and the 0.75 ems. So one of the cool things about this inspect element is that I can actually make changes to this web page. They're not going to be saved, but I can actually make changes to the CSS and I can see what they're going to look like. And then I can copy those styles and put them into my style sheet once I get them tweaked to exactly how I want it to look. So just as an example, let's go ahead and take this image here and let's style it a little bit, okay? Because right now it's just kind of plain. It's just a picture that's kind of hanging out there. So first thing I want to do is I want to right-click on that picture and go to Inspect Element. You can see that it's highlighted it for me in the HTML, and it's even brought up any associated styles that go along with it. Now, this particular image doesn't have any styles except for one inline style, the float right. And if you take a look at it here in the HTML, there's this inline style float right, which is making that image be pushed over to the right-hand side of the page. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep this as an inline style. And what I can do is if I click in that attribute or that value, I can hit my tab key and it'll open up a new line. And let's go ahead and put a border on here. So border 1 pixel solid. And now you can see that I have a small little gray line, 1 pixel solid gray line around that image. Well, let's add some padding. I'm going to give it 10 pixels of padding, and you can see that now the image is apart from that border that I put on it. But let's go ahead and give it a background now of white. And now you can see that this image is sort of separated from the background, or you can see that it's not part of the background anymore with that white padding and background that's around it. One of the things that I'm looking at here is on the left-hand side of this picture, that text comes up really close to it. So I'm going to go ahead and add a margin left of 10 pixels. And I actually want to make it a little bit more. So if I use my up and down arrow keys, I can add it. I can add pixels to it, 20 pixels, so it looks about right. So now, that's a great thing about this inspector. I've gone in and I've put in these styles, and basically what I can do now is if I like the way that this looks, I can copy these styles into my style sheet. For instance, I can go into my reset.css file and I can add these styles to it for that picture. And I've done it all within the browser of Google Chrome.